Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to go through Mathematics Paper 1 that Grade 9 External for 2025 wrote. So what I want to encourage you is to watch this video up to the end, as I'm going to answer all the questions that are in this paper. So without wasting your time, let's get started. We come to the instructions for this paper. So as usual, the paper will take 2 hours. As usual, the paper will take 2 hours and it has 50 marks. So I'm going to go through the instructions because ECZ recently, early this year, published a statement saying that the 9 exams will no longer come with the answer booklet. So that when the paper comes, there will be just question papers. There will be no answer booklets. That means students will be recording their answers in the same question paper. So I'll go through the instructions so that we can see some differences that have been brought. So let's start with the instruction number 1. Write the center name, center code, and your examination number in the space provided at the top of this page. Okay, so what happens is at the top of this page there is a center code and examination number. So make sure you write those on these spaces provided. Okay, number 2 is write your examination number on every page of this question paper. So as usual, like what we are doing in the answer book right now, we do the question paper. So you write your exam number on every page, okay, of this question paper. Okay, so we come to section 2, instruction 3, which is and there are 2 sections in this paper, A and B. So this paper consists of 2 sections. In case you have a paper that has only 1 section, please, you can raise your hand and let your supervisor know that your paper is incomplete. Number 4, answer all the questions in both sections. Answer all the questions in both sections. So you are going to answer all the questions in both sections. Then number 5, instruction number 5 is saying section A for each question, 4 suggested answers A, B, C, and D are given. Write the letter of the answer you have chosen in the box provided. Okay, so that's what you need to do. You answer you write your answer in the box provided. So I'm going to see the box and I'm going to demonstrate how I'll be recording my answers. Okay, so we come to instruction 6, which is section B. Write your answers in the space provided in this question paper. Okay, so there will be spaces provided for coding our answers. If working is needed for any question, it must be done in the space below the question. So that means every question will have a space for working. So you work from there. So don't expect supervisors or invigilators to give you a paper where you are going to work the problems. You are going to work the problems on the space provided on each question. However, I want to let you know that in 1, focus is only on the final answer. Okay? The focus is only on the final answer. Okay? Unless if the markers will be triggered, unless if they see the working is totally different and then the answer which is gotten is okay. Let me see, the working is not reading you to the answer you have written, maybe that concern, and then it will be addressed. However, the markers will be concerned with only the final answers. Information for the card names, cell phones and other electronic devices are not allowed in the examination. That is the instruction we have been working with for some time. So we don't have to go with a cell phone or calculator in the exam room. That means our mental arithmetic should be good for us to perform well. Okay, so those are the instructions that we need to follow. Now let's go to the next part of this paper. Section A has 10 marks. Answer all the questions in this section. Write the letter you have chosen as your answer in the box provided. Okay, so there is an example. They have illustrated how we should be writing our answer. Also, example is write 41.956 correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we have seen the options that are given, and then the instruction further down here, you see the letter of the correct response is A and is written in the box as shown. So it is shown here how you should answer how you write the letter of your choice. So that's how you write it. Okay, so we are done with the instructions that we need to follow. These are the same instructions that you are going to follow during the final exams. Okay, let's go. Come to question 1, which is find the value of 48 divided by -6. So how do we solve this one? First, what we need to do is we're going to write 48. Then we say divide by -6. So what we should understand is the law of integers states that when you divide a positive number by a negative number, our answer will be a negative. So we can even write the negative sign in advance. Then now we ignore the negative part, which is with 6. We just focus on 6 into 48. How many times can 6 go into 48? It will go 8 times. And that is the final answer. So the correct answer is C. So how I'm going to record my answer, I will come here and write letter C. That. Okay, I'm going to write C like that. That way I've recorded my answer as instructed. Come to question 2, which is which of the following is an irrational number? Which of the following is an irrational number? Okay, so an irrational number is a number that you can not express a fraction. An irrational number that you cannot express as a fraction. So if we look at the square root 2, what is square root 2? You find that the square root of 2 is a number that is very long. It has got many decimal places. So it's very difficult for us to express it as a fraction. So therefore, the irrational number is the square root of 2. So the correct answer is A. Okay. The square root of 4 is 2. So which is a whole number, and it can easily be expressed as a fraction. Okay. So that's how you give your answer. So the correct answer is A, and I've put it like that. So that's how you come to question 3, which is evaluate square root of 36 minus cube root of 8. Evaluate square root of 36 minus cube root of 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the expression that is in the question. So we have got square root of 36 minus cube root of 8. Okay, so a number that we can multiply twice to get 36 is 6. So the square root of 36 is 6. Then minus the cube root of 8 is 2. Okay, the cube root of 8 is 2. So we say 6 minus 2 will give us 4. And that is the final answer. So the correct answer is B. So like that. Okay, how you record your answers. Question 4 is as follows. Write 746.35 correct to 2 significant figures. So how do you write this one correct to 2 significant figures? First, we're going to copy the entire number 746.35. Then what we do is we write this number with only 2 significant figures. Now you know that non-zero numbers are significant figures. So when you look at this number, it has got 5 significant figures. So we need to reduce it to 2 significant figures. That means we're going to get rid of 6, and then since 6 is bigger than 5, that means we're going to add 1 to 4. That means it's going to give us 750 as the correct answer. So the correct answer here is which is D. So we record D here. Okay, we record D like that. So basically that's how you record your answer. So my answer is D, so I record it there like that. Okay, if you have questions, you can ask in the comment section. But basically that's how you do one. Okay, we come to question 5, which is the Venn diagram below shows the sets P and Q. Okay, so we can take time and start the Venn diagram. Once we have studied the Venn diagram, we can go now to the actual question, which is down here, which is saying, which of the following describes the shaded region? Which of the following is describing the shaded region? So let's look at the Venn diagram again. You can see that the shaded region is outside set Q. So what I'm trying to say is that the unshaded part is the entire set Q. Set Q is not shaded. So we can use set Q to describe the shaded area. So let's say we have Q, and then we have like this, we write Q. So if members of set Q are not selected, then we can say Q complement. Because they are not selected, then we can describe the shaded area as Q complement. So the correct answer. Now, if you have got questions, if you haven't understood my simple explanation, please, you can still comment in the comment section. Please, as you comment, you're asking a question about any certain question. Please make sure you indicate the question number. That way, it's easier for me to make a follow-up and go and check. But if you just give a question and then you don't indicate the question number, that becomes difficult for me to trace where that question is. Remember, questions comes different and you have dealt with different numbers. And to be honest with you, I can't even master the question that was on a certain paper, the type of question that on a certain question paper or on the certain number of the question paper. So it's good that you also indicate the question number so that it's easier for me to make a follow-up and then respond to you properly. Otherwise, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you find this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. Come to question 6. Which is, which of the following shapes in a flowchart represents a decision? Which of the following shapes in a flowchart represents a decision? So, in a flowchart, the shape that represents a decision is D, diamond. So the correct answer is diamond. Okay, so you write D like that in the box. Okay, so make sure you record your answers just like that. Okay, so D is the shape that represents decision in the flowchart. If you want to know what rectangle, parallelogram, and oval represent, please you can check on the video which I did shapes of the flowchart. Okay, or the shapes that what shapes in the flowchart represent. Then you're going to find that video and then watch it. It's going to show you what each shape represents. Okay, so we go to the next question. Question 7, which is, how many faces does a hexagon pyramid have? How many faces does a hexagon pyramid have? So a hexagon pyramid is a pyramid that is made of an hexagon shape down. So what happens is, let me try to come up with something. So let's say this is the hexagon. This is not going to be, this is hexagon shape. Then what is there is every corner. So what is there is every corner has something. It forms a pyramid like that. So I don't know if it's clear with you. So what happens is, first it has got the 6-sided shape down like this. Then again like this. Then from here we have triangles like this and another triangle which is like this, and then we have got another triangle there and another triangle there. So when you count the triangles, there will be 6, and plus the down one, there will be 7. So the correct answer is A, which is saying it has 7 faces. So the correct answer is A, like that. Okay, so basically if you followed me how I do it, you are able to count with me the faces of the triangle and the base. So there will be 7. Yes. Question 8, which is find the value of 9 squared minus 4 raised to the power of 0. Okay, so what we do is we expand 9 squared, which is going to be 9 times 9 in brackets minus any number raised to the power of 0 is 1, so it's a minus 1. So when we calculate 9 times 9 will give us 81 minus 1. So 81 minus 1 will give us 80. So the correct answer is B. So here the box is the box. So what we do is write B there. There is the box where we indicate our answer there in the box B. Okay, we come to question 9, which is given that m is equal to 6 and n is equal to negative 2, find the value of m plus 2n. So what we're going to do is we're going to write this expression that is given that will help us to get the actual answer. So we have got m plus 2n. Okay, so what we do now, we replace the variables by their numerical values. So m we are told is equal to 6 plus 2, then n is equal to negative 2. So what we do is now we say 6, first we evaluate what is here, so we maintain 6 plus then positive 2 times negative 4, sorry, positive 2 times, let me just say 2 times negative 2 will give us negative 4. Okay, like that. Then what we do next is we say positive times negative 4 will give us negative 4. So we write 6 minus 4. Okay, so even on this stage, what you can do is you don't write plus, you just multiply positive 2 times negative 2 will give us negative 4. So we could have gotten this answer on this stage. Okay, so now once we have come up with this, then we just say 6 minus 4 will give us 2. So 2 is the final answer and the correct answer is D. So see, I'm going to write D as my final answer like that. Okay, if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section, but otherwise, that's how you write this question on question. Question 10, which is find the mean of the following set of numbers 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. We have got those numbers, so we want to find the mean. Now we should understand that the mean is the average. So how do you find the mean? First you add the items that you're given, then you divide by the number of items. So we can say mean is equal to, so we add these numbers. So we say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, 5 over how many items are there? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6. So divide by 6. Okay, so what we do is we find the value of those numbers. So we say 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 3 will give us 9, 9 plus 4 give us 13, 13 plus 5 will give us 18, the whole of that over 6. Okay, the whole of that over 6. So what we do is we just say equal to 6 into 18 will give us 3, like that. Okay, so that is the correct answer, and the correct answer is so C is the correct answer on question 10, and we record it in the box like that. Okay, so this is what you need to do in an exam as you are calculating. Even though these workouts may not be considered, but the final option may be focus of marker. However, if the marker finds suspicion or suspicious calculations, then he or she may get concerned. Otherwise, you do good calculations, they'll give you correct answers. There is no way you can do poor calculations and you get the correct answers. However, markers will concentrate on the final answers. All right, we go to the next question. Question 11 of section B is as follows. Factorize completely 2m squared minus 6m. So we want to factorize this one. So what we're going to do first, we're going to write the same expression in the question, which is 2m squared. So remember, this is squared minus 6 m. Okay, so what we need to do first is we need to find the coefficients of 2 and 6. So first of all, we need to find the factors of the coefficients, which are 2 and 6. The numbers. In simpler terms, when I say coefficients, I'm talking about the numbers of 2 and 6. So the highest common factor of 2 and 6 is 2 itself. When I say highest common factor of 2 and 6, I'm looking at numbers that can go in 2 and 6 without leaving a remainder. You and me, we know that 2 itself can go into 2 and 6. So we're going to use factor of the highest common factor of 2 and 6. Now, once we've done that, then we can ask ourselves what variable is in these two terms. When I say two terms, I mean 2m squared and 6m. So the variable that is common in both terms is m. Now we're going to get m without any power because that is the smallest unit of m. So we're going to say m, just m. Okay. Then what we need to do now is we open bracket. Then we say 2m squared divided by 2m, or 2m into 2m squared will give us m. Okay, 2 into 2 is 1, which we cannot write. Then when we say m squared divided by m will give us m. Okay, then when we say 2m into negative 6m, it will go 3 times. When you just focus on 2 into negative 6, it's going to go negative 3 times. Okay, m into m, it's 1. So we're not going to write 1. Instead, we're going to close the brackets like that, and this is our final. So factorizing 2m squared minus 6m will give us 2m, open bracket, m minus 3, close bracket, like that. Now, I want you to be very careful as you record your answers. You can find the correct answer, but when you record a wrong answer, or answer that is not visible to the examiner, you are likely to lose marks, or you're likely to get 0 from that question. So make sure you write properly as you record your answer. So recording your answer is as important as calculating, solving that question. So make sure you write the correct answer. Question 12, which is convert 1110.01 in base 2 to a number in base 10. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to convert this number into base 10. So how do we go about it? First, what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite these numbers. Now, remember, we're going to this number, which is 1110.01 in 10. So what we're going to do now, we're going to convert these numbers. So first, we're going to write 1. So, and then we say 1, then times, going to determine the number we're going to multiply this number with, then in brackets together, then we say plus, open bracket, 1 times, we're going to determine the number we're going to multiply this number with, then plus 1 times, we're going to determine the number we're going to multiply with, then plus, then we say open bracket, then we have 0 times, we're going to determine the number, then plus, or yes, plus, we can even put a decimal point, then open bracket, then we say 0, then times the number we're going to multiply it with, then close bracket, then plus, open bracket, 1 times the number we're going to multiply with, close bracket. Okay, now once we've done this, what we're going to do is, now we determine the value. So here the value 1. The place value of this number is 2, the place value of this number, and the place value. Okay, so what we do now is we do the actual multiplication. So what we do now to convert this number into base 10, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply every number by its place value. The place value decimal point is 1/2, and the place value of 1/4. I hope you are confused. Ask me. I'm just writing the place values. Okay, so what means here 1 multiplied by here which will be multiplied by 4, which is its place value, and here we're going to multiply it by 2, which is its place value, and 0 will be multiplied by 1, which is its place value. Then we come to the decimal numbers. The first one will be multiplied by its place value, which is 2. 0 will be multiplied by its place value, which is 1 over 2, not 2, but 1 over 2. Then 1 will be multiplied by its place value, which is 4. Okay, so now we can go ahead and multiply. So 1 by 8 will give us 8, plus 1 by 4 will give us plus 1 by 2 will give us 2. Okay, then plus 0 by 1 will give us 0. So write 0. Then we can say plus, then plus a decimal point. Then we say 0 times 1 over 2 will give us 0. Then plus 1 times 1 over 4 will give us 1 over 4. Okay, so now we can add these numbers. So we say 8 plus 4 will give us 12, plus 2 will give us 14, plus 0 is still 14, plus C. So we have on the whole numbers part, we have 14, then point 14.0 plus 1 over 4 will give us 1 over 4. Okay, now what we can do now, we can change this fraction part into a decimal number. So we can write in point, then we say 4 into 1, it can't. So what do? We are going to put, we're going to write, we're going to put 0 to 10 so that we 10 there. So 4 into 10, it will give us 2 since the decimal point is already put. So we are going to have 4 into 10, it's 2, then 2, remainder 2, sorry, then remainder 2. So 4 into 10, it will go 2 times remainder 2. Then we say 4 into 2, it can't, we put 0. So 4 into 20, it will be 5. Okay, so this is the answer. So the number in base 10, so 1110.01 in base 2 is 14.25. 14.25, so not 14.25, but 14.25. 14.25 in base 10. Now, I'm not going to get a small 10. I'm not going to put a small 10 to that number. Any number that you write without the base number is in base 10. So no need for me to indicate the base number. Any number you write without a base number is in base 10. So basically, this is the way, this is the correct answer for this question. And you indicate it like that. You make sure your writings are as visible as possible so that the marker not guess your answer. Okay, we come to question 13, which is the following triangles are similar. PQ is equal to 2 centimeter, QR is equal to 4 centimeter, XY is equal to 6 centimeter, and YZ is equal to 12 centimeter. Sorry, YZ is equal to 12 centimeter, and XZ is equal to 9 centimeter. Okay, so what we can do is we can take time and start the diagrams. Once we've studied the diagrams, then we can go to the actual question, which is down here, which is saying, which is asking us to find the ratio here. Okay, find the ratio PR to XZ in its lowest term. So what we're going to do is we are going to write PR to XZ. Okay, so that is the ratio. So now one concept that will help us to get the correct answer is this concept, which states that ratio of similar triangle is the same. Okay, so the corresponding sides, or each sides, the corresponding sides share the same ratio. So what I mean is this, PQ to XY, they have the same ratio as QR to yz. The ratio is the same. So now, here what we can do is, since we are not given PR and we are only given xz, it will be difficult for us to come up with the ratio because the other number is not given. So what we can do is, we can pick sides whose dimensions are given in both. So we can pick QR to the corresponding side of QR is YZ. So we say YZ. Then what we do now is we ask ourselves, what is the distance of QR? That is 4. Now when you're writing ratios, you don't put units. So 4 to the distance of YZ, which is this one, is 12 centimeter. Now what we need to do now here is we need to reduce this ratio into its lowest term. So we find a number that can go into 4 and 12. So we're looking for highest common factor of 4 and 12. So the biggest number that can go into 4 and 12 is 4 itself. So we divide both sides by 4. So we say 4 divided by 4 will give us 1. 2. 12 divided by 4 will give us 3. So this is the ratio in its lowest term. So since similar triangles, they possess one ratio, or they are guided by one ratio, that means PR to XZ is also 1 to 3, like that. And this is the ratio of PR to XZ. So I'm going to record that answer here. Make sure your answer is recorded properly. So that is our answer 1 to 3. That is the ratio 1 to 3. That is the final answer. Please, if you have confused anywhere, you can ask in the comment section. If you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can continue enjoying videos like this one until you write your exams. Let's go to the next question. We come to question 14, which is, given that matrix Q is equal to 6, negative 8. Question 14a is as follows: state the order of matrix. Okay, so let's answer question A first before we go to question B. So question A, they're asking us to write the order of this matrix. So the order of matrix is written using this frame, which is row by column. Okay, so the number of rows by the number of columns. So how many rows does this matrix has? So we can see that this matrix has just one row. So that means where there is row, there is row, we're going to put 1. By how many columns? We can see that the columns are 2. So we say 1 by 2. Okay, that is the order of matrix. So on A, we're going to write 1 by 2, like that. Please don't just find the answer and forget to indicate it on the space provided. Make sure you indicate the answer you have found on the space provided. Okay, with that out of the way, we have answered question 14a. We go to question 14b, which is find 1 over 2q. So what I'm going to do to work out this one, I'm going to write the expression, which is 1 over q, name of 1 over 2, then open bracket, I write the actual matrix. So in case you can't see exactly the numbers that are there, let me just erase what I wrote. Then we go back and then we say 1 over 2, then the matrix is 6, then negative 8. Okay, so here what is really happening is we are multiplying 1 over 2, which is called a scalar. So 1 over 2 times each element of the matrix Q. So what we can do is I can open the bracket here like this. Then what I do is I'm going to say 1 over 2 times, I'm going to get this number, which is 6 times 6 is equal to, so when you're multiplying any whole number by a fraction, what you can do, the easiest thing you can do is you can just divide the whole number by the denominator of the fraction. So 6 divided by 2. Or you can say 2 into 2, which is 1. So we cancel 2 down. Then 2 into 6 will give us 3. Okay, 2 into 6 will give us 3. That means now we can say 1 into 1, it will be 1 times what we're meaning with there is 3. So 3 times 1 will give us 3. So that means here 3. Okay, then again, the next one, we go to this number, we say 1 over 2 times negative 8. Okay, times negative 8, cross bracket, then we say equal to. Then what do? We say 2 into 2, it's 1. 2 into negative 8, it will go negative 4. So the question is, please note the question. The principle is that when you divide a negative number by a positive number, your answer will be a negative. When you divide a negative number by a positive number, your answer will be a negative. So we can say 1 into 1, it will be 1 times negative 4 times negative 4, which will be equal to 1 times negative 4 will give us 4. Will give us negative 4. So this is the answer of quoting. That means the matrix will have negative 4 here. Right. Okay. Now, like this, we have found the correct answer for this question, which is question 14B. So on B, the space that is provided on B, I'm going to make sure that I copy my answer correctly. Like I have written 3 here, other people may see it as 5. So I'll make sure my 3 is better here. Then I also write negative 4. Okay. So when I'm recording my answers, I need to be very careful that numbers I'm writing are visible enough for the examiners, so that I don't lose marks due to my bad handwriting. Okay. During the exams, you try to pay attention to your handwriting. Make sure you write numbers close to the way they are designed written. Okay. Don't use handwritings that cannot help you. Okay, with that, we go to the next question. Okay, we come to question 15, which is as follows. Question 15 is as follows. 2 sisters shared oranges in the ratio of 3 to 5. If the larger share holds 25 oranges, find the smaller share. Okay, so 2 sisters shared the oranges in the ratio of we're told is 3, 5. Okay, 3 to 5. So then other point that we are told is that the larger, so we need to take care of this point. We need to understand this point. They're saying if the larger share was in 25. So the larger share will only come from the larger ratio. Okay, so the big ratio here we have is the bigger ratio we have here between the two is 5. So that means 25 was 4. 25 oranges was from the ratio of 5. Okay, so what is the value? How many oranges were in the smaller share? So smaller share, which is 3, we don't know. We put x there, and what we do, we cross multiply. Okay, so what can we do? So we say 5x is equal to, that is the direct proportion. So 5x is equal to 3 times 25 will give us 75. Sorry, this is 75. Then what do we do to find the value of x? So we're going to divide both sides by 5 so that we remain with x on one side of the equal sign, like that. Then we say these 5 and these 5 cancel each other out, leaving us with x, which is equal to, then 5 into 75 will give us 15. 5 into 75 will give us 15. Therefore, the answer is you can say small share is 15 oranges. Or what you can do is, you don't write this, you can just say, let me just delete this, let me lab this so that I show you what you can write. You can just say your answer is 15 oranges. That's all. The question is definitely clear. Find the smaller share. So when you write 15 oranges, the markers will know that this is the small share. Okay, so the correct answer is 15 oranges. Okay, we come to the next question, which is question 16 is as follows. Given that 2x degrees, 3x degrees, and 5x degrees are angles in a triangle. Find the value of x. Given that 2x degrees, 3x degrees, and 5x degrees are angles in a triangle, find the value of x. So to work this one out, what we're going to do is, these are the three angles that are found in a triangle. Remember, a triangle has got three angles. So that is interior and exterior triangles respectively are 3. Okay, so we have got 3 exterior angles in a triangle, and we have also 3 interior angles in a triangle. So the property that will help us to find the value of x is that the sum of interior angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, we can come up with an expression which is 2x degrees plus 3x degrees plus 5x degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, 180 degrees. Therefore, what do we do next? We find the sum of these angles. So we add 2x degrees plus degrees will give us 5x degrees. 5x degrees plus 5x degrees will give us 10x degrees. Okay, 10x degrees, which is equal to 180 degrees. Please, if you are confused anywhere, you can ask in the comment section. Otherwise, if my writings are not visible enough, please just quote the question number and ask your question. Then I'll go direct to the question number and then I'll respond to your question. Now, if you give me a question that has no question number, it's very difficult for me to trace your question and your worries, because I do not have time to watch the entire video. It might be 2 hours to watch the entire video and then determine where your question is. And then I have to think, write your question somewhere and start watching the entire video. So if you give me the question number, it's easier for me to go direct to the question number and then explain. Okay, so please make sure as you ask the questions, please indicate the question number where your question is coming from. Okay, so now once we have written 10x, which is 10x degrees, which is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, 10x degrees, as you know, has come from adding these three angles, which are 2x degrees plus 3x degrees plus 5x degrees, which has given us 10x degrees. So what we do to find the value of x, we are going to divide both sides by 10 degrees. We're going to divide both sides by 10 degrees. Okay, so 10 degrees and this 10 degrees on top will cancel each other, leaving us with x, which is equal to, then we say the degree sign there and the degree sign there will cancel each other. Then the 0 here down and this 0 on top will cancel each other, leaving us with 18 on top and 1 down. So we say 1 into 18 will give us 18. So the value of x is x. The value of x is 18. So we're going to write x is equal to 18. So that is the correct answer. Please, if you have got questions, I'm here to answer your questions. Like I said earlier on, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Easy Learning Z will be with you until you complete your grade 12 course. So please, even if you're going to grade 10, we are also doing grade 10 to 12 work. So please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can continue to support you until you complete your senior secondary school. Question 17 is as follows. Katie had 150 to buy the following items. 1 packet of sugar at 48 kwacha, 2 tablets of soap at 14 kwacha, 3 kg of potatoes at 15 kwacha per kg, and 2 books at 20 kwacha. How much was her change? Okay, so we know that Katie had 150 kwacha, that is the money she had, so she bought those items. So for us to find a change, what we need to do is we can need to come up with an expression like this one. So we can say change, okay, is equal to, the amount of change is equal to 150 kwacha. I'm going to ignore the ngwe. The ngwe is in all the amount because there is no amount that has got any non-zero number on the ngwe sign. So I'm going to ignore the ngwe as I'm calculating, but I can include them as I record my answer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to say minus. So what we do, we find the sum of those. So 1 packet of sugar is at 48 kwacha. Remember, I'm ignoring the ngwe section because there is no price that has got a non-zero number on the ngwe side. So plus, so we say plus, put here. So plus number 2, we are told 2 tablets of soap at 14 kwacha. So that means we'll say plus 14 kwacha. Then plus, then 3 kgs of potatoes at 15 kwacha per kg. Now here is where T is tricky. So when they say per kg, so this Katie bought 3 kgs and the price for 1 kg is 15 kwacha. So that means we need to find the total cost of 3 kg, which we need to multiply 3 times 15 kwacha. Okay, the number of kgs times the price. So if 1 kg is equal to kwacha, how much will 3 kg cost? So we multiply 3 by 15 kwacha. So we say 15 kwacha times, so this is 5. 15 kwacha times 3 will give us 5 kwacha. Okay, so one of the qualities that you need to have as you go into this exam is that your mental arithmetic should be good. So now we are going to write 45 kwacha. Okay, like that. Then we say 2 books at 20 kwacha. So 2 books at 20 kwacha, that means 1 book is equal 10 kwacha. If 2 books cost 20 kwacha, that means 1 book is 10 kwacha. So if they said per book, then we could have multiplied times 20. If they said each, we could have multiplied 2 by 20 kwacha. Now, since they just said 2 books at 20 kwacha, that means the cost of 2 books is 20 kwacha. Okay, so we say plus 20 kwacha. Okay, so what we need to do first, we need to find the value. We need to find the sum of these numbers we have in brackets. That means we're going to write 150 kwacha the way it is. Okay, then minus, then we say 48 plus 14 will give us 62. 48 plus 14 will give us 62. So 62 plus 45 will give us 107. 107 plus 20 will give us 127. Okay, so I'm using my mental arithmetic. So if you have found a different answer, you can write it in the comment section. Please, we are not perfect. We may miscalculate somewhere. So you can also contribute. You can also teach us. It's fine. We are here to help one another. So if you find that my answer is not correct, please write in the comment section what figure, what number did you get after adding these expenses. Okay, so we can go through again. 48 plus 14, that is 62. 62 plus 45, that is 107 kwacha, plus 20 kwacha will give us 127 kwacha. So we take away 127 kwacha from 150. 150 kwacha is the amount that Katie had. It is given in the statement above there where I've underlined. And then this is the total we got, 127, the total of expenses she made, or the total of the cost of things she bought. So when we say 150 minus 27 will give us 23 kwacha. So meaning her change was 23 kwacha. Please don't write too many things. Change whatever. No, just write 23 kwacha here and make sure your 3 is very clear. Please, girls and boys, those who want to develop fancy handwriting, this is not the time to use fancy handwriting. Make sure you use your basic handwriting, the handwriting that is visible to everyone. Okay, you make sure you write numbers with conscious, more especially on the answer spaces. But overall, in an exam, use a visible handwriting, more especially in paper 2, because calculations and the steps you take are also very important. Markers will be looking at how you are moving with your steps. So basically, that's how you do it. So this was the correct answer to this question, which is 23 kwacha. 23 kwacha was her change. We come to question 18, which is given that that is universal set. Universal set is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Set K is equal to 3, 4, 5. And set L is equal to 1, 2, 4, 5. Set K is equal to 3, 4, 5. Set L is equal to 1, 2, 4, 5. Wrist set K intersection set L complement. Okay, so what we can do is first we get set K, which is we say set K is equal to 3, 4, 5 cross bracket. Then we list set L complement. So when you talk about L complement, we're talking about elements that are not found in set L. So what we do is we compare the universal set with set L. So whatever is in set L, we cancel it in the universal set. So 1 is in set L, so we cancel it. 2 is in set L, we cancel it. 3 is not in set L, we're not going to cancel it, we'll skip it. Then 4 is in set L. 5 is also in set L. So what is remaining there is the complement of set L. So we have 3 and 6. So 3 and 6 are not found in set L. Those are the L complement now I've come up with. Now, what we need to do now is we need to write set K intersection set L complement. Okay, set L complement, which is equal to, then we do this, then we say what elements are found in both. So we can see now what we need to do is, for us not waste a lot of time, we concentrate on a set that has got fewer elements. That's what you need to do when you're looking for intersection set. You concentrate on a set that has fewer elements, like this. This is what I mean when I say you concentrate. You say you'll be detecting numbers from the element that from the set that has got fewer elements. So we say, is 3 found in both? Yes. So 3 in both, we cancel it and record it here. Then we look at 6. Is 6 found in set K? We find that 6 is not found in set K. The only element that is found in both is 3. So that is the answer. So when we come to a space where we're going to write our answer, on the answer space, we're going to write K intersection L complement is equal to, so we open the set for this. So set K intersection L complement will give us 3. Okay, let me write my 3 properly, because handwriting determines a lot in the exam. If your numbers are not visible enough, if your handwriting brings questions to the markers, that means you are at a disadvantage side. You make sure your handwriting is visible to everyone, so you make it as visible as possible to everyone. So use the basic handwriting. If you have got fancy handwriting, please put it aside. Okay, so this is the correct answer. All right, I have de-emphasized a lot on handwriting because, yes, I have seen a lot of students with poor handwriting. So please make sure you improve on your handwriting. Okay, come to question 19, which is, in the diagram, SC is parallel to BD, angle BAC is equal to 45 degrees, and angle ABC is equal to 100 105 degrees. So the actual question is, find the size of angle angle CBD. Find the size of angle CBD. Okay, so first of all, before we do anything, we need to identify the angle that is in question. The angle that is in question is this angle. Okay, is that angle. So what we do is now we come up with the strategies that we can find this angle. So as you can see, these two lines, angle AC and angle BD, are parallel lines. That means they are not going to meet. And then we can treat this line, which is BC, as a transversal line. Okay, so the property that we're going to use to find this the correct answer there is the property which is angles, the sum of interior angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So if we call this angle to be B, then we say if we add all the three angles together, they should give us 180 degrees. So how do we do it? So using that, let's find the value of angle B. So to find the value of angle B, we're going to use this one. So I'm going to write here, we're going to say B plus 105 degrees plus 45 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, 180 degrees. Okay, so what we do now is we evaluate this, which we are going to have B plus 105 plus 45 will give us 150 degrees, which should be equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so this is 150 degrees, not 158, 150 degrees. Then we find the value of B by taking 150 to the other side. So we have got B is equal to 180 degrees plus 100. So not plus, it's going to be minus. So not plus, it should be minus. 150 will cross the equal sign and go to the other side and become plus minus 150 degrees. Then we say B is equal to 180 minus 150 will give us 30 degrees, and that is the value of B. So where there is B, we are going to put 30 degrees. Where there is B, we're going to put 30 degrees. Okay, so we're going to put 30 degrees there. Okay, so now if that is 30 degrees, then what we can do is we can use the property which is alternate angles are equal. You can use the property of alternate angles are equal. So meaning angle ACB is alternate to angle CBD. So if this angle ACB is alternate to angle CBD, that means even angle CBD is 30 degrees. Okay, so the angle CBD is equal to 30 degrees, and that's the answer we write here. Okay, so on this question there are no much calculation that is needed to be done, only properties. Okay, so like I said earlier on, this paper is more of it's much of writing correct answers. Okay, writing the final answers in the spaces than following the calculations. So this is how we find the answer. The correct answer there is 30. We come to question 20, which is solve the equation 6 is equal to 3 over 4q. So to solve this equation, what we're going to do is we will rewrite the expression 6 is equal to 3 over 4q. Okay, so how do we go about it? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by 4 so that we get rid of the fraction. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. So what we do is we just say 4 times 6 will give us 24, which is equal to, then here on the right side, 4 down and 4 up, they cancel each other, leaving us with 3q. Then what we do, we divide both sides by q, which is going to be 3. We divide both sides by 3, not by q. We divide both sides by 3 so that we remain with q on one side of the equal sign. So this 3 and this 3, they cancel each other out, leaving us with q, then which is equal to 24 divided by 3 will give us 8. So we are saying 8 is equal to q, or q is equal to 8. Now that is the answer. So what we need to do is we make sure that we record our answer properly. We say q is equal to 8, like that. So doesn't matter whether the variable, whether the letter q is on the left side or right side, as long as we say q is equal to 8 or 8 is equal to q, the answer is correct. So basically that's how you solve this one. If you have got questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. We come to question 21, which is a man borrowed 60,000 kwacha from the bank for 5 months at the rate of 10% per annum. Simple interest. Calculate the interest. Okay, so a man borrowed 60,000 kwacha from the bank for 5 months at the rate of 10% per annum interest. Calculate the interest. Okay, so what we can do is we can write the interest formula, which is interest is equal to principal over rate times time over 100. So what we do now here is we say equal to, so what is the principal? The principal is 60,000 kwacha, then times rate, that is 10, then times 5 months, so 5 months. Now per annum, so in a month there are 12 months. So what we do is we are going to write 5, we write it as a fraction, so 5 out of 12, so we say over 100. Now here where there is 5, we put 12, like that. Okay, so now what we do is we cancel 0 here, 2 zeros there, and the 2 zeros there. Okay, then we say 12 into 60, 12 into 60, it will go 5 times. So what we have here is what we're remaining with is 5 0. So here we're remaining with 50 times 10 times 5. Okay, then we are trying to find the interest. So we say 5 times 10, 50 times 10 will give us 500. 500 times 10 will give us 2,500. Okay, so this is the interest that was made. This is the interest that was made. So you can say interest is equal to 2,500. Okay, 2,500 is the interest that was made. Okay, in 5 months. Okay, unless if you have got questions. If there are no questions, then you can go to the next question. We come to question 22, which is simplify 4a minus 3b plus a minus 4b. So how do we simplify this one? What we do is we write 4a minus 3b plus a minus 4b. Okay, so what we need to do now is we put like terms together. So we have 4a plus a minus 3b, okay, then minus 4 minus 4b, like that. Okay, so 4a plus a will give us 5a, negative 3b minus 4b. Now, since the signs are the same, we need to maintain the sign, which is going to be minus or negative. Then 3b plus 4b will give us 7b. So that is the answer. In that way, we have simplified the expression. So we come on the portion where we're supposed to write the answer and write 5a. Make sure your handwriting is visible enough. 5a minus 7b is the answer. So simplifying, 4a minus 3b plus a minus 4b will give us 5a minus 7b. We come to question 23, which is, in the following diagram, the bearing of y from x is 050 degrees. So you can take time and study the diagram. Once you've studied the diagram, then you can go to the actual question, which is find the bearing of x from y. So the first step in solving this question, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a north line on y like this. We can even call it north by writing n on top. Then once we've done this, the next thing we need to do is we need to identify the bearing that we need to find. So we are going to find this bearing here. So this is the bearing we want to find. Okay, so to find the bearing of x from y, we can use two methods that can give us the correct answer. One of the methods is one, we use the property which is angles at a point add up to 360 degrees, or a complete turn is equal to 360 degrees. So what we can do is now we can call this angle to be x. Okay, we can call this angle to be x. Then we consider these two north lines as parallel lines. Okay, so when we consider these two lines as parallel lines, that means the line xy will be a transversal. A line xy will be a transversal. Now we can use the property of two parallel lines and a transversal line. So we can use the properties we learn under angles associated with parallel lines and the transversal line. Okay, so we can see that 50 degrees and x, these can be referred as co-interior angles. What I'm saying is 50 degrees and x are co-interior angles. These two angles are co-interior angles, and the properties of co-interior angles is that co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, to determine the value of x, we are going to say 50 degrees plus x is equal to 180 degrees. So what we do, we put like terms together. So we have x is equal to 180 degrees minus 50, will close the equal sign and become minus 50 degrees. Then what do we do now? We find the difference. We say x is equal to 180 degrees minus 50 degrees will give us 130 degrees. So this is the value of the angle x. So where there is x, we can put x, we can put 130 130 degrees. Okay, we can put 130 degrees like that. Okay, so now I remember earlier on I said we are going to use the property which is angles on a point add up to 360 degrees. Now, since we have found this angle, now remember this angle in lead is completing the whole turn. Okay, 130 is completing the whole turn. So when you combine 130 plus the bearing we want to find should give us 360 degrees. So what do we do? So next we are going to use the property which is angles on a point add up to 360 degrees. So we can call this one as angle B. Okay, we can call this angle B, this bearing as angle B. We can call this bearing as angle B. So what we do now, we calculate for the value of B. So to do this, we're using the property of angles on a point. We're going to say 130 degrees plus B will give us 360 degrees. So what we do, put like terms together, we have B which is equal to 360 degrees, then 130 degrees will close take cosine and become minus 130 degrees. 130 degrees. So what we do, we find the value, we say B is equal to, that will give us, when we find the difference of 360 degrees minus 130 degrees will give us 230 degrees. So the value of, or the bearing of x from y is 230 degrees. We can even write it here. Okay, that is the first bearing we have found. Okay, so that is the, not the first bearing, that is the first method we can use to find the bearing. Okay, so I hope we have noted all the points. So let me just slab what is on the diagram, the drawings we did on the diagrams. So let me just slab the drawings we did on the diagram, because as we use the second method, we are also going to be using the diagram for drawing so that we fully understand. So you can choose between the two methods I'm showing you. You can choose one. Whichever works for you, it's okay. You can use it. Okay, so the second method we can use is this one. So first, again, as usual, you need to identify the bearing that you want to draw. So we are going to draw first the north line. Then we also call it, we give it the name of north line. Then what we do next is we find the bearing. So we found that the bearing is this one. So we write the bearing like that. Then the entire bearing, we can call it whichever name. Okay, but we're not going to give it a name. First, we are going to leave it like that. So then the next step we do is we divide this bearing into two angles. Okay, we divide this bearing into two angles. So the first bearing is this one in brown, the one I've drawn, this one, the first angle, which we can call ET. We can call this angle to be Y. Okay, since Y has already been mentioned, we can call it Y. That is angle Y. And then this one we can call it Z. Okay, let me call angle Y because Y is used there. I don't want people to get confused, as I mentioned, the Y, the point, and the Y, the angle. I don't want people to get confused. Okay, so we can call, let me also remove Z here first a bit. Okay, we can call this one as W. This is angle W, the one that comes from this line. This is angle W. Then we can call the other remaining angle, which is this angle, we can call it z. Okay, so we have subdivided the bearing into two angles, angle W and angle Z. So now, how do we find this? So we know that angles on a straight line, we know that a straight line angle is the angle that is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so we know that angle W is equal to 180 degrees. So for us to find the bearing of this x from y, we are going to add w plus z will give us that bearing, which is y from z. Okay, we don't know that the value of that angle, so we'll leave it like that, open. So what we do now, we identify the value of angle w, which we said a straight line angle is equal to 180 degrees. So it's 180 degrees plus, now we are considering these two north lines as parallel lines and xy as a transversal. Then we can use a property which is alternate angles are equal. So meaning in two parallel lines crossed by a transversal line, the alternate angles are equal. Then we can say this 50 degrees is an alternate angle to this angle, which is z, is an alternate angle to angle z. Therefore, angle z is also 50 degrees. Is also 50 degrees. So you can say 180 plus 50 degrees, the value of angle z. Then when we add 180 plus 50 degrees will give us 230 degrees. This is the value of the bearing of x from y. This is the value of bearing of x from y. If you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. If there are no questions, this is how we go about this question. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you found this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. We come to question 24, which is as follows. The density of a wooden block is 0.5 grams per centimeter cubic and its mass is 140 grams. Find its volume. Okay, so what we need to do is we just need to understand how this one works. So you can use the same formula for density and then you can use it to find the volume, or you can use the formula of volume. So the formula of volume, when you're finding volume where density and mass is given, the formula we use is volume is equal to mass over density. Which is equal to, so what is mass? We are given mass to be 140 grams and density to be 0.5 grams per centimeter cubic. Excuse me. So what we need to do now is we need to divide. Okay, so basically what you can do, the other thing you can do is, what you can do is you can either make the denominator 5 to be a whole number on a separate sheet, and then you make 140 grams to be 1400 grams. Okay, so we say we make it 1400, then we divide it by 5. So that means we have multiplied the upper part by 10 and the lower part by 10. We have multiplied the numerator by 10 and the denominator by 10 to make it a whole number. Okay, now Once we've done that, then we can go ahead and find the answer. So we can just say 5 into 14, it will go 2 times, remainder 4. So 5 into 4, it can't, so we get this 0, we make it 40. 5 into 40, it will go 8 times, remainder 0. Now, since there are no remainder, that means the 0 I haven't used will bring it down here. And this is the answer. This is the answer. So, you might be saying, we multiplied by 10, maybe we should divide the answer by 10. No, you don't have to do that. Just that is the answer. The reason we made 5 a whole number is just to make our calculations easier. Okay, so the answer is 280. Now, what will be the unit? If you don't know the unit of volume, what you can do is you just cancel what is the unit that is on top and the unit that is down. You cancel them out. So you can see that gram down and gram on top can be cancelled out, leaving us with the centimeter cubic, like that. Okay, then we can record our answer to be 280 centimeter cubic, like that. Okay, so basically that's how you do it. Okay, if you have got questions, I'm here to answer your questions, but otherwise this is how you work it out. And the way we have recorded the answer, that is how it is recorded, and that is the correct answer. It should earn you 2 marks. We come to question 25, which is, given that f of x is equal to 3 minus 6x, find f of negative 2. Okay, f of negative 2. So what we're going to do, first we write the expression that is given. We are given f of x is equal to 3 minus 6x. Okay, so now what is the value of f of negative 2 cross bracket is equal to, then we say 3 minus, then where there is x we put negative 2, like this. Okay, then what we do now, we say equal to, then we write 3. First we evaluate this which is in the brackets, remember body mass. Then we say negative 6 times negative 2 will give us positive 12. Okay, then when we find the value of 3 plus 12 will give us 15, and that is the final answer. So here we can see f of negative 2 is equal to 15. Okay, using that function. Okay, so if you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. We'll be glad to give you to respond to your comment. Otherwise, this is how you go about it. We come to question 26, and question 26 is as follows. The following triangles are congruent. So we can take time and look at the following triangles. So these are congruent. So the actual question is, find the angle marked with the letter A. So the angle that is marked with letter A is this angle here. Okay, that's what you want to find its value. So when you look at the triangles, if they are congruent, you see that corresponding angles and sides are equal. So meaning, when you look at the way it is drawn, this is the hypotenuse and that is the hypotenuse. The angle opposite to hypotenuse is here in this shape. So you see that this angle is also 105 degrees. Okay, so now with that in mind, we can now find the angle A. So what we can do is we can just come up with an expression, or we can use the property which is angles, the sum of angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. The sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So the interior angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So what we can do now, we can come up with an expression which is 105 degrees plus 30 degrees plus A is equal to 180 degrees. So what we do now here is we evaluate this. So 105 degrees plus 30 degrees will give us 135 degrees plus A is equal to 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Okay, like that. Then what do? We put like terms together. Remember, this is A, not 9. So what we can do is we write A is equal to 180 degrees. So 35 will close the cosine and become minus 135. So 135 will close the cosine and become minus 135. Then we say A is equal to 180 minus 135 will give us 45. And this 45 degrees is the value of angle A. 45 degrees is the value of angle A. So we can say A is equal to 45 degrees, like that. Now, in that way, we have solved for A. We have found the value of the angle A. Okay, we come to question 27, which is the size of each interior angle of a regular polygon is 135 degrees. Find the number of sides of this polygon. Okay, so to find the number of sides of this polygon, first we need to find the size of exterior angles. So to find the size of exterior angles, we should use the property that which states that interior angle and the exterior angle of the same point adds up to 180 degrees. Exterior angle and interior angle at the same point adds up to 180 degrees. Therefore, we can say 135 degrees of the interior angle plus exterior angle will give us 180 degrees. Okay, so what we do now is we find the difference. So what we do is say exterior angle is equal to 180 degrees. Then 135 degrees will close the cosine, so it's a minus 135 degrees minus 135 degrees, which will give us, so we go ahead, we say equal to 180 degrees minus 135 degrees will give us 45 degrees. Will give us 45 degrees. Now, this is the exterior angle. Okay, this is not the final answer. This is the exterior angle. Okay, now once we have determined the exterior angle, the next thing we're going to do is now we are going to use the exterior angle to get the number of sides. So number of sides, we can say number of sides is equal to, so first we get the total sum of exterior angles. Now in any given polygon, the total sum of exterior angles is equal to 360 degrees. Now, this one doesn't matter whether it's a triangle, whether it's a decagon, whether it's a nonagon, whether it's a septagon, whether it's a pentagon, the sum of exterior angle is equal to 360 degrees. So, when we do that, we are going to, when we understand that, we are going to write 360 degrees on top. Then divide by the size of exterior angle, which we found to be 45 degrees. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to divide 360 degrees by 45 degrees. Okay, so the other way we can do it is we just realize that in 90 degrees there are two 45s. Okay, in 90 degrees there are two 45s. That way it's easier for us to divide 36 by 90. Okay, so if there are two 45s, if there are two 45s, in 90, how many 90s can go into 360 degrees? Okay, so they'll go 9 into 36, it will go 4 times. Then that means 90 in 360, it will go 4 times. Then we just say 4 times 2 will give us 8. Okay, to give us 8. That means 360 degrees divided by 45 degrees will give us 8. 360 degrees divided by 45 degrees will give us 8. Now, I'm trying to bring out these strategies, these tricks. I'm talking about like just determining how many 45s are in 90, so that 90 will be easier for us to divide compared to 45. Okay, because it's easier for us to get how many times 90s will go into 36. For instance, what I mean is this. Let me write it here. 360 degrees, then we use 90, which has got two 45s. So it's easier for us to cancel even the zeros. Then we say 9 into 36. That means it will go 4 times. Okay, so that is the answer. Now, since we are using 90 and instead of 45, so meaning in each 90 there are two 45s. So you can just multiply this number by 2 and then to give us 8. And that is the number of times 45 will go into 360 degrees. So we can say, we can write here, we can say 80 sides. So the polygon has got 80 sides. The polygon has got 80 sides. So that is the final answer, 80 sides. We come to question 28, which is, in the following diagram, AC is 13 centimeter, AB is 12 meters, and angle ABC is equal to 90 degrees. What is the length of BC? Okay, so when we want to find the length of a side in a right angled triangle, we usually use the method of Pythagoras theorem. So how does it work? How do we do it? Okay, so I'm going to show you how you go about it. So the question is, we need to find the length of BC. So this is the length of BC. We can call it Y. We can call it Y. Okay, so how do we find it? So we say, using Pythagoras theorem method, we are going to do it like this. We can say, we identify a hypotenuse. Now we know hypotenuse is AC. So we can say AC squared is equal to AB squared. Remember, when I say AB squared, I'm referring to O. These are sides. So when I square, it's not that I'm just squaring C alone, I'm squaring the side. Okay, then plus Y, which is BC squared. Okay, so you should bear in mind that. Okay, then what we do, we replace these by their numerical value. So AC is equal to 13 centimeter squared, which is equal to AB, that is 12 centimeter squared, plus the value of Y is C. The value of BC, we have said, is Y, so just say Y squared. Okay, all right. Then next, what do? We find the square of 13. So we can just say 13 times 13. I'm doing this if you have not mastered the square root, the square number of 13, which is 3 times 3 will give us 9. 3 times 1 will give us 3. Then we put 0 here. Then we say 1 times 3 will give us 3. 1 times 1 will give us 1. Then we add this. That is 9, 6, 1. So the square number of 13 is 169. Okay, so we can say 169 centimeter centimeter squared, which is equal to the square root of 12. Now, using the same way I did it, that's what you can do, but I'm not going to do it because I've demonstrated how you do it. So we are going just to write 144 here, centimeter squared, then plus y squared. Okay. Then once we've done that, what we need to do is we put like terms together. So we have 169, then 169 centimeter squared, then 144 close the equal sign and come this side, which is going to be minus 144 centimeter squared, which is equal to y squared. Okay, so we find the difference of that. So the difference of 169 and 144 is 25 centimeter squared, which is equal to y squared, So what do we do now? We square root both sides. We find the square root of both terms on both sides of the equal sign. So the square root of 5 centimeter squared is 5 centimeter, which is equal to the square root of y is y. Then we do this. This is the value of this is the length of BC. So you can say BC is equal to 5 centimeter. BC is equal to 5 centimeter. So this is how you go about this question. If you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section. I'll be glad to respond to your comments. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we have dedicated ourselves to do go through a lot of papers so that we can help our grade 9s to write their final exams. So please make sure you watch all the videos that we are publishing so that we can revise together intensively. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Okay, we come to question 29, which is the following pie chart shows the games played by a grade 9 class. Okay, we have got netball 60 degrees, volleyball 120 degrees, and football is equal to 180 degrees. So what we are doing is we should understand that a complete pie chart is equal to 360 degrees. Okay, so if netball is equal to 60 degrees and volleyball is equal to 120 degrees, together netball and volleyball, they give us a sum of together volleyball and netball, they give us the sum of 180 degrees. That means when we subtract 180 degrees from 360 degrees, will give us the value of football, which is 180 degrees. Okay, now I'm just painting this picture so that you understand. However, when you come to the actual question, which is down below here, which is find the number of learners in the class if 30 learners liked netball. So we find the number of learners in class if 30 learners who are represented by 60 degrees liked netball. How many learners are in class? Okay, so what we can do now here with that information that is on the screen, we can say that 30 learners is equal to 60 degrees. That is the portion of the pie chart 30 learners occupied, that is 60 degrees. Now, how many learners will they are saying find the number of learners in the class if 30 learners liked netball. So how many learners are in that class if we consider 360 degrees, which is the total sum of angles in a pie chart? Okay, so we don't know the number of learners. So what we're going to do is we're going just to use proportion in direct proportion to find the answer. So what we do is we cross multiply. So what we're going to have 60 degrees x is equal to, then when we multiply 30 by 360 degrees, so what we can do is just let's ignore the zeros, the two zeros, we ignore them. Let's just consider 3, and 36. So 3 times 6 will give us 18. We write 8, carry 1. 3 times 3 times 3 will give us 9, plus 1 will give us 108. 3 times 3 will give us 9, plus 1 will give us 10. So when you write 10, it will land us to 108. So now what we do, we get the zeros that we ignored and add them to the product, which means it will give us 10,800. Now that will be 10,800 degrees linears. Okay, be careful on how you leave. You don't leave units, you go with units. Okay, so now once we've come up with this expression, we can now divide both sides by 60 degrees. Okay, we divide both sides by 60 degrees. Why are we dividing by 60 degrees? We want to remain with x on one side of the equal sign. That means 60 degrees and this 60 degrees will cancel each other out, leaving us with x, which is equal to. So now here again we are dividing by 60 degrees. So what you can do, this degree and this degree will cancel each other out. This 0 and this 0 will cancel each other out. Then we say 6 into 10, it will go 1 time, remainder 4. 6 into 4, it can't. So what we do, we bring 4 and 8. So this 8 goes to 4 there, it becomes 48. So 6 into 48, it will go 8 times. 6 into 48, it will go 8 times. Okay, then we say, is there any remainder? No. 6 will go into 48 times without leaving a remainder. Now, when you look at the numbers, you will notice that this 0, we haven't used it. And here we got the answer without leaving any remainder. So what do we do to that 0? We bring it down to the answer. Okay, then once we have done that, then is there any unit that is remaining? Yes, we're remaining with the weight linears. So we also put the weight linears there. Okay, so in terms of the weight linears and the degrees, you might leave them as you are calculating, but at the end of the calculations, when you want to record the answer, make sure you remember to write 180 linears. That way your answer will be correct. But if you don't indicate linears, then the answer is left open. It can be 180 chicken, 180 bags of maize. So we can now write here our final answer to be 180 linears as the final answer. So basically, this is how you solve this question. If you have got questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. Let me just zoom it so that you will be able to see the entire question, even though it will be in smaller fonts. So these are the steps I've taken up to the point I found 180 learners. So the total number of learners in the class is 180. Okay, we come to question 30, which is in a particular month, a household used 300 units of electricity. The charge was 1 kwacha 50 ngwe per unit plus a fixed charge of 34 kwacha. Find the A, cost of electricity used without the fixed charge. B, total amount the household paid for electricity that month. Okay, so what we're going to do is we start with the A, cost of electricity without fixed charge. So we just say cost of electricity. So cost of electricity. So I'll just write elect, which is equal to, so how much is the cost of electricity? First of all, they used 300 units, so we say 300 units, we say 300 units times the cost per unit, that is 1 kwacha 50 ngwe. Then what do we do now? We multiply that. Now when you are multiplying a number like 1 kwacha 50 ngwe or 1.5, what it means is that we can just add 300 plus half of 300 so that we don't get confused. Or what we can do, we ignore the decimal point, we just have 15. Okay, so we can say 15 times 3, that will give us 45. Okay, that will give us 45. We can put the quater sign. Sorry, we can put the quater sign not there. We can put the quater sign there. Then we write 45. Okay, now when we write 45, since we used 15, when we record 2 zeros down, that means the decimal point will come to the left one step, because when we are multiplying, the decimal point moved one step on the right side. Now this time it should go on the left side. That means it will give us the answer to be 450 kwacha. Now this is the answer. Now here are the two ways I've told you. One, you add half of 300 to 300 to give you 450 kwacha. Or you multiply 15 by 300, which will give you 4,500. Then you move the decimal point one place to the left, sorry. Then it will remain 450 kwacha as the actual price. So the easiest I can see is if you just add 300, whatever you're multiplying by 1.5, you just add 300 plus half of 300 to give you 450. Okay, so basically that's how we get this answer. So if you have got questions, you can ask, but this is how we go about it. So what you do is you come down and record your answer here, which is 450 kwacha. That is the cost of units without fixed charge. Okay, now we go to question B, which is, let's go to question B, which is asking us to find the total amount the household paid for electricity that month. So to find the total amount that household paid for electricity for the electricity they used in that particular month, what we're going to do is total. So we say total cost is equal to, so what we found, the amount of money they paid for the own units is 450 kwacha. Then plus the fixed charge. Fixed charge we are told is 34 kwacha, so we say plus 34 kwacha. Okay, I'm ignoring the zeros on that because the ngwes, the value of ngwes, they are 9 zeros, so that's why I'm not even putting the ngwes. Okay, so now once we have done that, what we need to do, however, during the coding of the answer, you need to put the ngwe signs as well. So you do that as you write your answer. But as you are calculating, you can ignore the zeros because under ngwes there is no 9 figure there. So you can ignore the ngwes, and then later on you can put the ngwes as you record your final answer. So what we need to do now is we find the sum of 450 kwacha plus 34 kwacha, which will give us 484 kwacha, 484 kwacha as the total cost in that particular month. So what we do now is we come and record that. Now, like I was saying, as you record your answer, you put the ngwes you put the zeros for the ngwes. Okay, then here again we can record our answer to be 484. Then we put the ngwes there, which are zeros. Then like that, you have found the correct answer for this question. So basically, this is how we go about this question. And these questions, they don't miss in an exam. So if we can revise with us at least 4 or 5 papers of paper 1, you can go through our papers, 4 or 5 papers, and you are seriously studying with a book, you are writing along as we are solving. And the trick you can be using is you pause the video, solve the question first. Now, remember, there is a lot of learning in failing than in succeeding. So don't be beaten down by failing to find the answer on one particular question. Take it as an advantage, as a platform to learn. There is a lot of learning when you fail. If you don't fail, that means you don't learn. When you are learning, you need to fail before you succeed. Even today, as your teacher, I fail many times, but I don't give up. One day, my preparation will meet an opportunity and I'll succeed. That's how life is. And the more I learn, the more I fail, the more I learn. The more I fail, the more I learn. I want you to also research on a person who invented the bulb, Edison Thomas. How many times did he fail? I'm sure we're going to get different answers. Others will get 1,000, others will get 10,000, others may even get 40,000 times. For him to invent the simple bulb that we buy today, he failed those times and then he succeeded. How many times have you failed to solve this question? How many times have you failed to solve the entire paper? You find that they are not more than 1,000, not even 100 times. Some of you not even to talk about 10 times. So please, let's fail and learn. So continue practicing mathematics. Mathematics is made easier by practicing. So continue practicing. Thank you so much for watching. It has been easy learning zed-Mathematics. The future is bright. Thank you for your time and thank you for visiting our channel. May God bless you and I wish you success in your exams. See you in the next video.